I have really enjoyed the presentations we've had so far. See a lot of synergies with them and with what we can offer here at North Dakota. Again, my name is Chris Tyson. I'm the Executive Director for the Research Institute for Autonomous Systems at the University of North Dakota. I want to start by actually talking about a little bit of history, our UAS ecosystem, how we came to be, and it really started out in early 2000s. 2005, the North Dakota, University of North Dakota actually decided to get into UAS research and education. They set up a degree program for UAS education. We started with research within federal space within the DoD, conducted research in ground-based detecting and avoid. This research project and this degree program really kick-started a lot of the activity within the University of North Dakota and kick-started that ecosystem. Within the first 4 years, we actually ended up graduating the first degree, first students with the degrees in UAS. And we're continuing to push forward with research in ground-based detect and avoid, airborne detect and avoid, all funded by federal agencies or even the state of North Dakota putting in funds to help expand the technology and perform research and development in those areas, as it saw that the research in UAS was going to be very important for the state's economics. In 2013, the state decided to pull together a team of individuals across the state to put together a proposal for the Federal Aviation Administration for one of the FAA designated UAS test sites. Trevor Woods here will be talking to you later today regarding how the test site fits into the ecosystem. In 2015, Grand Forks County, where University of North Dakota is located in North Dakota, opened up a relationship with the Grand Forks Air Force Base and leased property at the Air Force Base to establish Grand Sky, the business part for UAS and aviation. And we have representation here that we'll be talking about Grand Sky later as well. These initiatives all kick-started this UAS ecosystem. And we ended up becoming and growing to be known as the Silicon Valley of drone innovation. In this map here, you can see kind of the different companies, different locations across the state of North Dakota where things are growing and expanding. Grand Forks is located right here. But you see that that's not the only area that we have UAS activities. You'll see later from Trevor and others about the activities not only within Grand Sky in that region, but how it's extending across the state. This ecosystem now has members that consist of state university, colleges, local leaders, private sector companies, regional entities, state agencies, and federal partners. How does RISE fit into this? And so as we grew, as the ecosystem grew, the University of North Dakota saw opportunity to expand on the relationships that we grew out of these members within the state and within the region to expand on all things autonomy. And so the university stood up the Research Institute for Autonomous Systems in 2017. And so our goal was to expand not only on UAS, continue pushing that market forward, but also look at kickstarting other ecosystems in autonomy, land autonomy, air autonomy, sea, space autonomy. How do we take those same industries and create ecosystems around them and help grow those types of ecosystems. So RISE does execute on research grants. It does execute on contracts across federal, government, state, private sector. We work with FAA, we work with DoD, DHS, NASA's, those big letter agencies, conducting research in a wide variety of areas. Our vision here and our mission really, like I mentioned, is to grow the autonomy ecosystems. And how do we actually go about doing that? RISE is set up to support the university in all things autonomy, for acting as a hub. So we pair up government, private sector industries with the researchers on campus, the different departments on campus. And so we act as that hub to spur some of that development. Here's our vision and our mission statements, but the key is really to execute research projects to grow the industries within the land, sea, air, space autonomy, so that we do kickstart those ecosystems in those areas. They'll each, since there's a lot of autonomy that kind of bridges the gaps between those areas, UAS, ground vehicles, underwater vehicles, space vehicles, they all have a commonality, and we want to leverage the relationships that we have, the technology that we're developing between all those different ecosystems. So RISE is actually a department within the Vice President of Research and Economic Development within the University of North Dakota. We sit underneath the president, sorry, wrong button there. So the university president, the VPR, and RISE executive director is the structure that we have set up right now. On the right here are what we call advisory boards. These are set up for public advisory board as well as corporate advisory board. So we're looking to identify the public and the corporate side, how we can help advance autonomy that supports the needs of the public as well as industry. To do that, we identified 5 different pillars. The 5 pillars that RISE focus on is autonomous platforms, where we have actually Paul Snyder here is one of my project leads or my RISE leads for that pillar. I have applications, so autonomous applications using UAS and autonomy as a tool. I have a RISE lead that's in part of the engineering school at the university, leading up that chain. Data supply chain, cybersecurity are 2 pillars that are commonly linked together. I have another RISE lead in electrical engineering at UND to lead up those pillars for me. And then I have a policy pillar. How are we doing research in an ethical way? What kind of policies, regulations are out there to guide the development and the research of autonomous systems? I've got a policy lead that is part of the law school, aviation, and as well as space studies. These 5 pillars really help bridge the gap between the use of autonomous systems and autonomous systems innovation to public acceptance, which leads into societal adoption. How do we get there? These 5 pillars really help define some of the things in innovation that needs to happen. RISE is set up to look at some of those things. So autonomous platforms, we're looking at research systems, the autonomous systems, the platforms, the subsystems that are needed to create the capabilities that we need out of the autonomous systems. Key topics like detect and avoid, human factors, UAM, AM, UTM, all those things apply within our autonomous platforms. The applications, we're saying, okay, how can I take this technology and use it for the common good? Agriculture obviously is a very big part of the state. Energy sector, Homeland security, networked infrastructure. How do I create an environment then that I can share data now between one spot to another, one system to another system, and that leads into data supply chain, cybersecurity. How can I do that in a reliable way, a secure way? We're looking at all the different types of research and development, the technologies that help enable those things. And then the last pillar there, the policy. How do I take that, make sure that we do it ethically within the regulations, within the legal standards, so that people can start trusting what we're doing. The policy side helps generate that regulation and policies and standards around use of autonomous systems. The RISE ecosystem here, like I mentioned, we're part of the university. Our job is to bridge the university with the departments and the activities at the university, with government, with other industry members, stakeholders, with private sector. How can I get those opportunities within the university and connected to the researchers that are doing these things within the university? So the middle part of this graphic here is really just that. It's the university as a whole. It's the Vice President for Research Office connected to all the different colleges, which is on the right side here. So we've got a wide variety of different colleges that are performing research in a variety of different ways. We've got on the left side, over here, is all our external partners. It's the test site, it's Grand Sky, it's industry, it's federal government, it's other research universities. How do we work together? How do we work together to create opportunities to do research, to do commercialization of activities within the autonomous space? And then what's our outputs? Our outputs, obviously research and development is one of our key outputs. But what else are we trying to do? We're trying to develop the workforce. We're trying to develop academics, the education part of autonomy. Partnership, developing the partnerships is really critical in pushing forward with acceptance of autonomy and conducting research and development within that autonomy ecosystem. And then obviously the infrastructure that's needed to support the use of autonomy. With that, I want to just go back to that first slide again. So let me go back there. One of the things I neglected to state, but I think is very apparent in some of the conversations that was had earlier this evening, one vision, one voice. We recognized early on that not one entity can do this alone. We need a team of experts. We need a team of individuals, team of companies to actually come to the table to create a strong, sustainable ecosystem. We have done that in UAS in North Dakota, and we look to do that in all forms of autonomy, other ecosystems, and start building upon that because they all have to build upon each other to be successful. With that, I'll thank you for your time today, and I look forward to further conversations.
Thank you again, Mr. Dixon. Now, we'll have introductions from Korea and North Dakota UAS companies and organizations. First company is Airbility from Korea. Airbility is a startup in the future air mobility sector, developing vertical takeoff and landing electric